In the Jungle of Cities by Bertolt Brecht. In the Jungle of Cities, the fight between two men in the great city of Chicago. You are in Chicago in 1912. You are about to witness an inexplicable wrestling match between two men and observe the downfall of a family that has moved from the prairies to the jungle of the big city. Don't worry your heads about the motives for the fight. Concentrate on the stakes. Judge impartially the technique of the contenders and keep your eyes fixed on the finish. Round 1. The Lending Library of C. Mains in Chicago, the morning of August 8th, 1912.
Good day, gentlemen.
If we read the sign right, this is the Lending Library. We'd like to borrow a book.
What kind of a book?
A fat one.
For yourself?
No, not for me. For this gentleman.
His name?
Schlink, lumber dealer, 6 Mulberry Street. And my name's Skinny.
Schlink, 6 Mulberry Street. 5 cents a week per book. Take your pick.
No, you choose one.
This is a detective story. It's no good. Here's something better. A travel book.
Just like that, you say the book is no good?
Is that your personal opinion? I'll buy your opinion. Is $10 enough?
Take it as a gift.
You mean you've changed your opinion and now it's a good book?
Nope.
$10 will buy you some fresh linen.
My job here is wrapping books, that's all.
It drives the customers away.
What do you want from me? I don't know you. I've never seen you before.
I never heard of this book, and it doesn't mean a thing to me. I'm offering you $40 for your opinion of it.
I'll sell you the opinion of Mr. J.V. Jensen and Mr. Arthur Rimbaud, but I won't sell you my own opinion.
Your opinion is as worthless as theirs, but right now, I want to buy it.
I indulge in opinions.
Are your family millionaires?
My family live on rotten fish.
A fighter. I'd have expected you to come across with the words that would give me pleasure and get your family something better than fish.
$40. That's a lot of linen for you and your family.
I'm not a prostitute.
I hardly think my $50 would interfere with your inner life.
Raising your offer is one more insult, and you know it.
A man's got to know which is better, a pound of fish or an opinion. 2 pounds of fish or the opinion.
Dear sir, your stubbornness will get you into trouble.
I'm going to have you thrown out.
Having opinions shows you don't know anything about life.
Miss Larry says you wanted to go to Tahiti.
How do you know Jane Larry?
She's starving. She's not getting paid for the shirts she sews. You haven't been to see her in 3 weeks.
What's your step? You're only an employee.
You're molesting me. But there's nothing I can do about it.
You're poor.
I live on fish and rice. You know that as well as I do.
Sal,
Are you an oil magnate?
the people in your neighborhood feel sorry for you.
I can't shoot down the whole neighborhood.
Your family that came from the prairies.
Sleep 3 in a bed by a broken drain pipe. I smoke at night. It's the only way I can get to sleep. The windows are closed because Chicago is cold. Are you enjoying this?
Of course, your
So
sweetheart.
shirts for $2 a piece, net profit 12 cents. I can recommend her shirts. We spend Sundays together. A bottle of whiskey costs us 80 cents, exactly 80 cents. Does this amuse you?
You're not coughing up your secret thoughts?
No.
Nobody can live on 12 cents
Each
profit.
man to his taste. Some people like Tahiti, if you don't mind.
You're well informed. That's the simple life. On Cape Hay, there are storms. But farther south, you've got the tobacco isles and green, rustling fields. You live like a lizard.
And out there, 94 degrees in the shade, noise from the Milwaukee Bridge, traffic, a morning like every other morning.
Well, this morning is different. I'm starting my fight with you. I'm going to start by rocking the ground you stand on. I want to speak to the boss.
Yes? What do you want?
Your man has gone on strike.
Why aren't you taking care of these gentlemen, Gaga?
His relations with us are strained.
What do you mean by that?
We don't care for his greasy shirt.
How dare you kind of work like that, George? Is this a hash house? It won't happen again, gentlemen.
He's saying something. He's cursing up his sleeve. Speak up, man. Use the voice God gave you.
I must ask you for new shirts, Mr. Maines. I can't be a gigolo on $5 a week.
Go to Tahiti. Nobody washes there.
Thanks. Your concern is touching. I'll send my sister to pray for you in church.
Please do. She has nothing else to do anyhow. That sailor, Pat Mankey's the right man for her. He runs himself ragged for her. Your parents are starving, and she doesn't bat an eyelash.
Are you running a detective agency? Your interest in my family affairs is flattering, I hope.
You're just shutting your eyes. Your family is headed for disaster. You're the only one who's making any money, and you indulge in opinions when you could be on your way to Tahiti. Just look at this lovely map of the Pacific Ocean.
I've never seen you before in all my life.
There are 2 passenger lines.
You just bought this map, didn't you? It's brand new.
Think it over. The Pacific.
Mr. Maines, you're the manager here. Please ask these gentlemen to leave. They didn't come to buy anything. They're driving the customers away. They've been spying on me. I don't even know them.
Is this C. Maine's Landing Library?
In person?
Will you excuse me?
Shady establishment, if you ask me.
What, are you looking for books, magazines, stamps?
Listen to this. She says, when you kiss me, I always see your beautiful teeth. How can she see when she's kissing? But that's the way she is. Posterity will find out, the little bitch. I'll make pulp of this stuff.
It's a plot.
Look here, sir. You ruined those books. You'll have to pay for them.
Books? What good are they? Did libraries stop the San Francisco earthquake?
George, get a policeman.
My name's Worm. I own a liquor store. That's an honorable profession.
He isn't even drunk.
The sight of such loafers makes me tremble like a leaf.
It's a put-up job. They're out to get me.
Come on in, my little white chick. This is Maine's Rental Library.
Mr. Maines,
Baboon, is this the place?
you better close the shop, Mr. Maines. Strange vermin are crawling into your papers. Moths are eating your magazines.
I always say, look life straight in the eye.
Get your face out of my way, Mr. Gaga. I can't stand paper, especially newspaper.
Get the gun.
I ask you again, will you sell?
No! Jane! Are you with these people?
George, is this your shop? Why are you staring at me? I was just going for a little walk with this gentleman.
Keep walking.
Say, let's not get rough. Don't you trust her? If I get excited, this book will end up in 1,000 pieces. You still don't trust her?
I'll fire you if you won't trust her. My books are being ruined.
Go home, Jane, please. You're drunk.
What's wrong with you, George? These gentlemen are being nice to me. They bought me drinks. It's hot today, 94. You know, George, it rips through you like lightning.
Go home now. I'll come tonight.
You haven't shown up for 3 weeks. I'm not going home anymore. I'm fed up sitting around with those shirts.
Come here, kid. That's all over now.
Oh, you're tickling me. Stop that. George doesn't like it.
In brief, she's got a body that's worth a few bucks. Can you afford it, sir? It's a question of love and a question of drinks.
Maybe you'd like to keep her a virgin. What do you want her to do? Scrub floors? Wash clothes?
You expect a nice little pigeon like her to be an angel?
Are you trying to turn this place into the Wild West? Knives, guns, cocktails?
Hold on. You can't leave your job here. Sal.
Strange. Everybody knows what's going on except me. Jane.
Tell him.
Don't look at me that way, George. This may be my only chance. Can you buy me drinks? Oh, it's not for the drinks. It's like this, George. Every morning I look in the mirror. It's been 2 years now. You always go off and work for 4 weeks. When you were sick of it and needed liquor, you thought of me. I can't take it anymore. The nights, George. That doesn't make me bad. Not me. Don't look at me that way. It's not fair.
That's smart. Have another drink and you'll be even smarter.
Jane. Whiskey's rotting your brain. Can you hear what I'm saying? Let's go away together to Frisco, any way you want. I don't know if a man can love forever, but I can tell you this much, I'll stick by you.
You can't, Georgie.
I can do anything. I can even make money, if that's it. I got special feeling for you. There are no words for it, but we'll get together again. I'll come tonight, this very evening.
I hear every word. You don't need to shout, and you don't need to tell these gentlemen here you didn't love me.
Cut the comedy. Just tell him you were in bed with this gentleman from 9 to 10:30.
What?
That might not be so good. But now at least you know, George. It's not the whiskey or the heat.
Jane!
So, I'll double the price again. This is so unpleasant.
It doesn't count. What's 9 to 11 against 2 years?
I assure you, $200 means nothing to me. I hardly dare make such an offer.
Would you be kind enough to send your friends away?
As you wish. Consider the ways of this planet.
You're a fool and a wet rag and a lazy coolie.
Just think of your innocent, careworn parents, your sister.
Your sweetheart, this lovely young girl.
No!
Edie,
I refuse!
You're fired.
your economic existence, the ground you stand on, it's shaking.
No! This is freedom! Here, take my coat. Give it away. It says here in this book by Arthur Rimbaud, it says, idolatry, lies, lechery. I'm a beast, a black, but I can be saved. You're phony blacks, maniacs, savages, misers, merchant, you are a black, and judge, you are a black, emperor, you old leper, you drink untaxed liquor from Satan's still, this people inspired by fever and cancer. I'm unversed in metaphysics. I understand no laws. I have no moral sense. I'm a brute. You are mistaken.
Why get so excited? Nobody's doing anything to you.
Is it that bad, George?
Here are my shoes. Are you smoking your little black cigar, sir? It might make you drivel. Here, my handkerchief. Yes, I'll auction off this woman. I'm throwing these papers in your face. I want the tobacco fields of Virginia and a ticket to the islands. I want my freedom!
My name's Slink. Slink the lumber dealer. 6 Mulberry Street.
He'll toe the line. What's all this paper cost?
You're really gonna pay?
Well, the books are worth $10.
Here's 20.
Now comes the payoff. Go weep in the gutter.
You've gotta look life straight in the eye.
Manager, how much is this stuff?
Well, the clothes, jacket, tie, shoes. Well, they're not really for sale. $10.
We finally drove him out of his skin. Let's take it with us.
Round 2. Chicago, 2 weeks later, shortly before 7 p.m., the office of C. Schlink, lumber dealer.
There's a man asking to see Mr. Schwenk.
Send them up, Worm. George Garga, so here you are. Here are your clothes. Put them on.
You've been waiting for me. You've brought my clothes here. Filthy rags. Take them away.
George,
You here, Mary. Have you dragged my sister into this too?
where have you been, George? They were worried about you. And the way you look.
Just what are you doing here?
I take care of the linen for Mr. Schlink. We can live on that. Why are you looking at me like that? You look as if you've been having a hard time. I'm doing fine here. They said he fired you.
Mary, pack your things and go home. I don't know what they want from me. They've harpooned me and pulled me in. I can feel the ropes. I'll have to depend on you, sir. But leave my sister out of it.
As you wish. But first, get him a clean shirt and a suit, if you don't mind.
Yes, Mr. Schlink.
And when you're finished, please go home, too. Have you been drinking?
Kindly tell me if that doesn't fit in with your plans.
I only have sake, but I'll get you anything you like. You prefer cocktails?
I do everything in one fell swoop. I'm in the habit of doing nothing for weeks but drink, make love, and smoke all at the same time.
And leaf through Britannica.
You know everything.
When I heard about your habits, I thought to myself, there's a good fighter.
What's the holdup with those clothes?
I'll attend to that. Excuse me.
Here's your linen, George, and your suit.
Wait, and we'll leave together. May I put these on now?
Of course. Go ahead.
I have to say goodbye, Mr. Schlink. I couldn't quite finish all your washing. Thanks for letting me stay at your house.
This suit has no pockets. Who are you whistling for? In the last few weeks you've got left to live, I want you to stop whistling for people.
I accept your orders.
You opened up this Western, I'll accept the challenge. You skinned me alive for the fun of it. You won't make amends by giving me a new skin. I'm gonna wipe you out. I've got a gun. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Then the fight's on.
Yes! Without obligation, of course.
And no question why?
No question why. I don't want to know why you need a fight. If you've got a reason, I'm sure it's rotten. For me, it's enough you think you're a better man.
Well, let's think it over. Owning a house in the lumber business, for instance, puts me in a position to sick the dogs on you. Money is everything, right? But my house is yours now. And so is the lumber business. From now on, Mr. Garga, my fate's in your hands. I don't know you. From now on, I'm going to be your slave. Every look that comes into your eyes will trouble me. Every one of your wishes, known or unknown, will find me willing. Your cares will be my cares. My strength will be yours. My feelings will be dedicated to you alone. And you will be an evil master.
I accept your challenge. I hope you'll have nothing to laugh about.
Ah, gentlemen, please enter. Baboon, Skinny, Worm. This house and this lumber business carried on the Chicago Register of Deeds as the property of Schlink are being transferred this day to Mr. George Garga of Chicago.
That's me. All right. How many strip logs have you got in stock?
Maybe 400. I don't know exactly.
They belong to Bruce and Company of Virginia.
Who sold them?
I'm known as Worm, owner of the Chinese Hotel in the coal district.
Sell them again.
Sell them twice? It's fraud.
Right.
But who'd be responsible for this order?
Sell those logs in Frisco under the name of Schlink. Turn the money over to Mr. Schlink, who'll hold it for me until I ask him for it. Any objections, Mr. Schlink?
None.
That's barefaced fraud. We'll have the law on us in no time.
How soon?
6 months at the most.
You meant the actual lumber business, didn't you, Schlink? The house, the logs, the whole inventory?
Of course, everything. Here's the ledger.
You. Pour ink over the ledger.
Me? All these entries? All our transactions?
Go ahead, pour.
That's that. What an ending after 20 years. Some joke, I don't get it. This used to be a lumber business.
And now, turn off the saws, and that will be the end of this lumber business.
Anything you say, boss.
What are you doing, George?
Shut up. Fire that man, Mr. Schlink.
You may leave, Skinny.
Leave? After working in this place for 20 years come April?
You're fired.
I don't think you're doing right, George.
I want you to go home, Mary.
I want you to come with me. You'll only come to grief around here. Let him go, Mr. Schlink. You're coming home with me, George. This whole thing is a joke. Can't you see that?
We grew up on the prairies, Mary. Here we're being auctioned off. Mr. Schlink, I don't understand a thing. I came with a white flag, but now I'm attacking. Give me the papers that are your fortune and hand over your personal assets. I'll put them in my pocket.
Come, I'll show you. Paltry things, yet I beg you not to despise them.
Things were bad around here, and the rain came in on us. But being fired is always an injustice.
Don't talk like a fool. He thinks we've been talking about mildew on the floor.
I love you, Miss Mary. You have a way of holding out your hand.
No.
Christ, he's lost his bed and he wants a woman to share it.
Come with me.
No,
I'll work for you.
No.
Come with me.
Pitiful. There are all sorts of women. Black and gold and yellow and white like apples. Black women. Straight as a die from hip to foot. Full thighs, by God.
chicken legs like this. Oh, Papua. $40 for Papua.
Baboon, you're a barbarian. Ungrateful. The lady's innocent. Does she smoke a pipe? She's inexperienced, but who's to say she has no fire? $50 and all for the lady.
As much as you want for her.
Without makeup, natural, uncooked, the naked flesh. Oh, the tropics. $70 for the chick.
Mr. Schling, protect me.
I'm ready to protect you.
Do you think I should go with him?
Here, nobody loves you. He loves you.
Do you like being for sale? There's a lot of lumber here, and now they've put up a few pounds of flesh for auction.
You should have helped me. Come with me, George, this minute. Something terrible's happened. Even if I go away now, this thing may not be over. You must be blind not to see that you're losing.
I can see you're ready to lose yourself. It's the swamp that's sucking you in. Here's something for you, Mary. The Salvation Army marching in here for you. Hey! Salvation Army, this way.
Listen, Mary, a river has drained off here, and at night the place is haunted by the ghosts of drowned rats. Go home to your parents.
Clean this joint up. Get rid of that whiskey. Come in, preacher.
Did you want me?
Hallelujah, the Salvation Army. I don't think much of what you people are doing. You could use a house, though. Here, take this one.
Oh, the Lord will bless you.
Maybe. Did you inherit this house, these papers, Schlink?
No.
You worked 40 years for
Worked
it?
my fingers to the bone. I never slept more than 4 hours.
Were you poor when you came over?
I was 7. I've worked ever since.
You don't own anything else?
Not a thing.
Preacher, I'll give you this man's property on one condition. Sir. For the sake of the orphans and drunks whose shelter this will be, you must let me spit in your insufferable face.
I'm a man of God.
Then take the consequences.
I have no right.
Snow falls on the orphans, the drunks die like flies, and you take care of your face?
I'm ready. I've kept my face clean. I'm 21. You must have your reasons. I beg you to understand me, please. Ask the lady to turn around.
I'll despise you if you accept.
I expect that. There are better faces than mine, but none too good for this.
Spit in his face, Schlink, if you please.
This isn't right, George. I don't like it.
A tooth for a tooth, if you please. Here is the deed of gift for the Salvation Army. And this is for you. Yes, it's a gun. Now get out, you swine.
Thank you in the name of my mission.
You spoiled my fun. Your brutality is no equal. I'll keep some of the money, but I'm not staying here because this is the point of the whole thing, Mr. Schlink from Yokohama. I'm going to Tahiti.
You're a coward, George. When the preacher left, you winced. I saw you. How desperate you are.
I came here peeled to the bones, trembling from the spiritual debauches of the last 2 weeks. I spat in his face many times. Each time he swallowed it. I despise him. It's all over.
Disgusting.
You left me in the lurch. A tooth for a tooth.
And now you're going to carry on the fight with me? You never knew where to stop. God will punish you. I want nothing from you, only my peace.
And to find bread for your parents in a whore's bed? And to offer your mare's smell for sale and say it's not me? That you may prosper in bed and dwell long upon the earth.
I don't really understand you, Mr. Schlenk. But you can go in all 4 directions while others have only one. A man has many possibilities, hasn't he? I can see that a man has many possibilities. You were going, but I'll follow you.
Round 3. Living room of the Garga family, August 22nd, after 7 p.m.
Something's happened here, Mankey, that's hard to talk about.
They say your son George is mixed up in the kind of deal that never ends. They say he's mixed up with a yellow man. The yellow man has done something to him.
We can't interfere.
If he's been fired, we can eat grass.
Ever since he was a little boy, he's had to have things his way.
They say you shouldn't have hired out your daughter to this yellow man.
Yes, Mary's been gone 2 weeks now, too.
People must be beginning to see that it all hangs together.
Our daughter left. She told us she'd been offered a job in a lumber business, $10 a week, and only the washing to attend to.
Washing linen for a yellow man.
In cities like this, nobody can see the next house. When people read a newspaper, they never know what it means.
Or when they buy a ticket.
When they ride in these electric trolleys, it probably gives them...
stomach cancer.
Yeah, nobody knows. Here in the States, wheat grows summer and winter.
But suddenly, without any warning, there's no dinner for you. You're walking the street with your children, observing the fourth commandment to the letter, and suddenly, you've only got your son's or daughter's hand in your hand, and your son and daughter themselves have sunk into a sudden gravel pit.
Hello, who's there? Oh, George.
Still chewing the fat.
You finally got the money for the 2 weeks?
Yes.
You still got your job or not? A new jacket. Looks like you've been well paid for something, hmm? Your darling son looks pale, doesn't he? Slightly drunk, maybe. Come on, Mankey, let's go. We'll smoke our pipes on the stairs.
Tell me, George, are you mixed up with somebody?
Has somebody been here?
No.
I've got to go away.
Where?
Any place. You scare too easily.
Don't go away.
I've got to. One man insults another. That's disagreeable for the man who gets insulted. But under certain circumstances, the first man is willing to give up a whole lumber business for the pleasure of insulting the other. That's even more disagreeable for the second. Maybe when he's been insulted like that, he'd better leave town. But since that might not be too pleasant for him, even that may no longer be possible. In any case, he's got to be free.
Aren't you free?
No. A mother salts her children's food with her tears and washes their shirts with her sweat. And their future is secure until the Ice Age, and the root sits in their heart. And when they grow up and want to do something, body and soul, they pay you, brainwash you, label you, and sell you at a high price. And you're not even free to fail.
Tell me what it is that makes you sick.
You can't help me.
I can help you. Don't run away from your father. How are we going to live?
I've been fired, but here's enough money for 6 months.
We're worried about not hearing from your sister. We hope she's still got her job.
I don't know. I advised her to leave the yellow man.
I know you won't let me talk to you the way other mothers do.
Oh, all those other people. The many good people, all the many other good people who stand at their lathes and earn their bread and make all the good tables for all the good bread eaters.
George!
No!
But what about me? How am I going to live with these filthy walls and a stove that won't last the winter?
It's plain as day, Mother. Nothing can last long now, neither the stove nor the walls.
How can you say that? You blind?
And neither will the bread in the cupboard, nor the dress on your back, and neither will your daughter, for that matter.
But how am I to live? And I've still got so much time ahead of me.
If it's as bad as all that, speak up. What makes it so bad?
You know.
Yes, I know.
The way you say that. What do you think I said? I won't have you looking at me like that. I gave you birth and fed you milk. I gave you bread and beat you, so don't you look at me like that. Husband is what he wants to be. I won't say a word to him. He's worked for us.
I want you to come with me.
What's that?
Come south with me. I'll work. I can cut down trees. We'll build a log cabin and you'll cook for me. I need you terribly.
Who are you saying that to? The wind? When you come back, you can come by and see where we spent our last days. When are you leaving?
Now.
Oh, don't say anything to them. I'll get your things together and put your bundle under the stairs.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Come along.
So, this is his place.
Hey! Who's there?
Me, a gentleman. Mr. Garger, I presume? Mr. John Garger?
What do you want?
Me? Nothing. Could I speak to your son? I mean, if he's had his bath.
I'm Mr. Garga. What's it all about?
What inhospitality. If it's not too much of an effort, could you tell me where your excellent son is taking his nap?
He's gone away. Go to the devil. This isn't an information bureau.
Too bad, too bad. We miss your son terribly. And, ma'am, it's about your daughter, too, in case you're interested.
Where is she?
In a Chinese hotel, milady. In a Chinese hotel.
What?
Holy Mother of God.
What's the meaning of this? What's she doing there?
Nothing, just eating. Mr. Shrink wants me to tell you and your son that he should come and get her. She's too expensive. It's running into money. The lady's got a healthy appetite. She doesn't lift a finger, but she pursues us with immoral propositions. She's demoralizing the hotel. She'll have the police after us.
John!
We are sick of her!
Christ!
Where is she? I'll get her right away.
Oh, sure, you'll get her. How do you know where the hotel is, you young fool? It's not so simple. You should have kept an eye on the lady. It's all your son's fault. You tell him to call for the bitch and kindly look after her, or tomorrow night we'll get the police on a move.
Good God, just tell us where she is. I don't know where my son is. He's gone away. Don't be hard-hearted. Oh, Mary. John, plead with him. What's happened to Mary? What's happening to me? Oh, John, what a city this is. What people. What people. What people.
Is this George Garger's place?
I'd better scram. This place has 2 exits.
My name is Slink. I used to be a lumber dealer. Now I catch flies. I'm all alone in the world. Can you rent me a place to sleep? I'll pay board. On the door plate downstairs, I recognize the name of a man I know.
Your name is Schlink? You're the man who's been holding these people's daughter.
Who's that?
Mary Garga, sir. My daughter, Mary Garga.
I don't know her. I don't know your daughter.
The gentleman who was just here.
Sent by you, I presume.
Who slipped away the moment you came in.
I don't know the gentleman.
But you and my son.
You're making fun of a poor man. Of course, there's no danger in insulting me. I've gambled away my fortune. Often you don't know how these things happen.
What I say is, when I steer my ship into port, I know my channel.
You can't trust anybody.
Lonely through sheer bungling at an age when the ground must close, if snow is not to fall into the crevices. I see you deserted by your breadwinner. I'm not without compassion, and if you'll keep me, my work will have a purpose.
Purpose won't fill anybody's stomach. We're not beggars. We can't eat fish heads. But our hearts aren't made of stone. We feel for your loneliness. Your elbows want to rest on a family table. We're poor people.
I like everything. I can digest gravel.
It's a small room. We're already packed in like sardines.
I can sleep on the floor, and a space half my length is good enough for me. I'm as happy as a child as long as my back's protected from the wind. I'll pay half the rent.
All right, I understand. You don't want to wait out in the wind. You may share our roof.
I've got to hurry downtown before dark.
You're always gone when I need you. I'm taking this man in. He's lonely. There's room in our home now that your son's run away. Shake hands with him.
Our home was on the prairies.
I know.
What are you doing in the corner?
I'm making up my bed under the stairs.
Mr. Schlink, where's your bundle?
I have nothing. I'll sleep on the stairs, ma'am. I won't intrude. My hand will never touch you. I know the skin on it is yellow.
I open the window over the stairs at night.
She's a good soul.
God bless her. I'm a simple man. Don't expect words from my mouth. I've only teeth in it.
Round 4. The Chinese Hotel, 2 days later. The morning of August 24th.
Baboon, aren't you even thinking of starting a new business?
No. All the boss does is walk along the waterfront checking the passengers on the ships bound for Tahiti. Some fellow has run off with his soul and his entire fortune. Maybe to Tahiti. It's him he's looking for. And he's been feeding this here broad Jane free of charge for the last 3 weeks.
Hey.
He's even taken the guy's sister in. What he means to do with her, I just can't figure. He often sits up all night talking to her.
You've let him put you out in the street. And now you feed him and his hangers-on, too.
He makes a few dollars hauling coal, but he gives them to the fellow's family. He's taken up lodging with them. But he can't live there. They don't like having him around. That fellow Gaga really took him for a ride. He got himself a cheap trip to Tahiti and hung a tree trunk over the boss's head that's likely to come crashing down any minute. Because in 5 months at the most, they're going to drag him into court for selling the same lumber twice.
And you bother to feed a wreck like that?
He had to have his little joke. A man like Schlink can always get credit. If that fella stays lost, the boss will be back at the top of the lumber business.
I've always thought I'd end up like this, in a Chinese flophouse.
You've no idea, Jane, what's in store for you.
Listen, what are they saying? Schlink and Mary behind that screen.
Why don't you ever touch me? Why are you always wearing that smoky sack? I've got a suit for you, like other men wear. I can't sleep. I love you.
I am unworthy. I don't know anything about virgins. And I've been conscious of the smell of my race for years.
Yes, it's a bad smell. Yes, it's bad.
Why cut yourself in pieces like that? Look, my body is numb. It even affects my skin. Man's skin in its natural state is too thin for this world. That's why people do their best to make it thicker. The method would be satisfactory if the growth could be stopped. A piece of leather, for instance, stays the way it is. But a man's skin grows. It gets thicker and thicker.
How long have you had this disease?
Since I was a boy on the rowboats on the Yangtze Kiang. The Yangtze tortured the junks. And the junks tortured us. There was a man who trampled our faces every time he stepped into the boat. At night, we were too lazy to move our faces away. Somehow, the man was never too lazy. We, in turn, had a cat to torture. She was drowned while learning to swim. Though she'd eaten the rats that were all over us. We lay in the reeds in the early morning and felt the disease growing.
Mr. Schlenk, the wind swallowed the fellow. There's neither hide nor hair of him in all Chicago.
You'd better get some sleep, Mary Garga. You? Wait. I'm coming down.
Okay, boss.
Chicago is waking up. The shouting of milkmen, the rumbling of meat wagons, the newspapers, and the fresh morning air. It will be good to go away. It's good to wash in water. But there's something good about the prairie and the asphalt. Right now, there's surely a cool wind in the prairies where we used to live. I'm a little out of breath. I want to sleep with a man, and I don't know how. Some women are like dogs, yellow dogs and black ones. But I can't do it. I am split right down the middle. Oh, these walls are like paper. You can't breathe. You've got to set it all on fire. Where are the matches? A black box to make the water come in. Oh, if I swim away, I'll be in 2 parts, drifting away in 2 different directions.
Where has Schlenk gone?
He's looking into the faces of all the people who are leaving town because Chicago's too cruel.
Round 5. Same hotel, a month later. September 19th or 20th.
Gogga never sailed after all. The harpoon is in deeper than we thought. We thought the earth had swallowed him up, but now he's in Schlink's room licking his wounds.
Schlink. He never had any heart. But one day a passion made him wreck his whole lumber business. And now he's hauling coal down there. He had the whole neighborhood by the throat.
We took him in the way you might take in an exhausted pedigree dog. But now, by some stroke of luck, his lost bone has turned up again, and if he won't let it go, our patience will be at an end. That dog. Schlink. I'm through with Mr. Schlink from Yokohama. One day I'll be his widow. That day I know has already been marked on the calendar. And I, in clean underwear, shall walk behind his corpse, swinging my legs lustily in the warm sun.
George.
Who's that? Good God. Mary, you look like a soiled rag.
I know. I'm glad to see you had a better opinion of me, or you wouldn't be surprised to see me here now. Besides, I remind you of the days when you were the pride of women, dancing the shimmy and ragtime with a crease in your pants on Saturday night, when your only vices were tobacco, whiskey, and the love of women, the legitimate vices of men. I wish you'd think of that, George. How do you live?
It gets cold here at night. Do you need anything? Are you hungry?
Oh, George, we've had vultures over our heads for some time now.
When were you home last? I heard you were spending your time round here in the Chinese hotel.
Is that so? I wonder who's looking after them at home.
You needn't worry. I've heard that somebody's taken care of them. And I know what you've been doing.
Does it make you feel good to be so cold-hearted, George? Don't look at me like that. I know you expect a confession.
Go ahead.
I love him. Why don't you say something?
Go ahead. Love him. That will make him weaker.
For God's sake, stop looking at the ceiling. I can't win him.
That's disgraceful.
I know. Oh, George. I'm torn in two because I can't win him. I tremble under my dress when I see him and I say the wrong thing.
I can't tell you the right thing. A woman spurned. I had one once who wasn't worth a bottle of rum, but she knew how to attract men. And she gave her money's worth. And she knew what she was capable of.
You say such biting things. They swim in my head like gin. But are they good? You ought to know if they're good. But I understand you now.
You hear, Miss Garga?
Yes, Schlink. It is considered wrong for a woman to tell a man she loves him. But I'd like to tell you that my love for you doesn't prove a thing. I don't want anything from you. It's not easy for me to tell you that. Maybe you knew it all along. I'll go now.
Stay here, Mary. We've got the prairies written on our faces, and here we've been tossed into the city. Don't hold back. Do what you want to do.
Yes, George.
He works like a horse, and I lie lazily in a pool of absinthe.
The men who conquer the world like to lie on their backs.
And those who own it work.
Are you worried?
Every time I look at you, you're sizing me up. Have you backed the wrong horse? Your face has grown old.
Thank you for not forgetting me. I was beginning to think you'd gone south. Forgive me. I have taken the liberty of supporting your unfortunate family with the work of my hands.
Is that true, Mary? I didn't know that. So you've wormed your way in. You're vile enough to support my family, and you enjoy it. You hand me a laugh.
Go ahead and laugh. I like to hear you laugh. Your laughter is my sunshine. It was misery here. It's been dismal without you. It's been 3 weeks, Garga.
I've been satisfied, all in all.
Of course. You've been rolling in clover.
Only my back is getting thin as a rail from lying on it.
How pitiful life is. You're rolling in clover, and the clover's not sweet enough.
I expect more out of life than to wear my shoes out with kicking you.
Kindly take no notice of my insignificant person or my intentions. But I'm still here. If you have to throw in the towel, you won't be able to leave the ring in innocence.
I'm giving up the fight, though. I'm going on strike. I throw in the towel. Have I sunk my teeth so deep into you? You're a small, hard beetle nut. I ought to spit it out. I know it's harder than my teeth, and that it's only a shell.
I'm doing my best to give you all the light you need. I show myself in every possible light, Mr. Garga. Just look at me.
You want to auction off your pockmarked soul? Are you hardened to all suffering? Utterly callous?
Crack the nut.
You're withdrawing into my corner. You want to stage a metaphysical fight, but you are leaving a slaughterhouse behind you.
You mean this business with your sister? I haven't butchered anything your hands protected.
I have only 2 hands.
Please, George, can I go now?
No, certainly not. We've just started talking about you. I've only just noticed you.
It's my misfortune to tread on delicate ground. I'll retreat. You're never aware of your affections until their objects are in the morgue, and I feel the need of acquainting you with your affections. But please proceed. I understand you perfectly.
But I am making sacrifices. Have I refused?
Let me go. I'm afraid.
Let's turn ourselves into a family.
George!
Stay here, Mary. I demand a little human involvement on your part, Schlink.
I wouldn't say no for a minute.
Mary, you love this man, and he's indifferent?
Oh,
I hope you're not overestimating your power.
Don't worry, this will be a step forward. Let's see now. This is Thursday night. This is the Chinese hotel, and this is my sister, Mary Garga. Come here, Mary, my sister. This is Mr. Schlink from Yokohama. He has something to tell you.
George!
I fled into the outskirts of the city, where women with crooked orange mouths cower white in flowing thorn bushes.
It's dark in the window, and I want to go home now.
I'll go with you if you like.
Their hair was black lacquered shells, ever so thin. Their eyes were dulled by the winds of debauch in the drunken night and by sacrifices in the open fields.
Please, don't ask me that.
Their thin dresses, like iridescent snake skins, drenched with never-ending rain, slapped against their forever excited limbs.
I meant it when I asked you. I have no secrets from anyone.
They cover their legs to the very toenails, which are encrusted with molten copper. The Madonna in the clouds turns pale at the sight of her sisters. Won't you drink? I find it necessary.
Why do you drink? Drinkers lie.
It's fun talking with you. When I drink, half my thoughts float downwards. I guide them to the ground, and then they seem light. Drink.
I'd rather not. But if you insist...
I'm inviting you to drink with me, and you refuse.
I don't refuse, but my brain is all I've got.
Oh, forgive me. Let's go halves. You'll turn off your brain. When you've drunk, you'll make love.
When I have drunk, I'll make love.
This is the black pit. The ground is giving way. The water of the sewers rises to the surface.
I ask for your hand, Mary Garga. Shall I throw myself humbly at your feet? Please come with me. I love you.
Help! 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 They're selling me!
Here I am, beautiful.
I knew you'd be wherever I am.
Mary Garga, I beg you.
All I want
Don't throw
is
yourself
a
away,
little
Miss
room
Garga.
with nothing in it. I've stopped wanting very much, Pat. I promise you I never will again.
Fight for your chance, Slink.
Think of the years that won't pass, Mary Garga, and think how sleepy you are.
Come with me, Mary. I've got $2,000. That means a roof in the winter and no more ghosts except in the morgues.
I implore you, Mary Garga, come with me. I shall treat you like my wife and wait on you and hang myself without any fuss if ever I hurt you.
He's not lying. I promise you that. That's what you'll get if you go with him down to the last cent.
Tell me, Pat, even if I don't love you, do you love me?
I think so, beautiful. And it's not written anywhere between heaven and earth that you don't love me.
Georgie Gaga!
Good evening, Jane. Gentlemen, polishing off the cocktails. You don't look exactly yourself. Have you sold everything?
Get rid of him, baboon. I don't have to put up with ridicule.
I crack the nose of any man who says you're an old shoe.
Did they feed you too? Your face looks like a lemon ice that's been left standing. Damn it all, you used to wear glad rags like an opera singer, and now you look as if they'd sprinkled you with black powder. But I'll say this much, you didn't come of your own accord, but only the flies made spots on you, my drunken chick.
Let's go, then. I'd have gladly obliged you, Schlink, but I can't. It's not pride.
Stay if you like. I won't repeat my offer if it displeases you, but don't let the pit swallow you up. There are many places to get away from a man.
Not for a woman. Forget it, Schlink. Don't you see what she's driving at? If you'd preferred a roof in the winter, Jane, you'd still be sewing shirts.
Drink before you make love, Mary Garga.
Come, Pat. This isn't a good place. Is this your woman, George? Is she? I'm glad I had a chance to see her. Let's go, Pat Menke. Let's go.
I won't forsake you. Come back when you've found out. The sacrifices on both sides have been considerable. How many ships do you need to get to Tahiti? I hold you responsible for your sister's fate, George Garga. You showed her that man would always treat her as an object. I haven't spoiled anything for you, I hope. I almost got her as a virgin, but you wanted me to have the leftovers. And don't forget your family that you're abandoning.
I want to slaughter them all now. And now I understand why you fattened them on what you earn hauling coal. Oh, I won't let you do me out of my fun. And now I'm taking delivery of this little animal that you've been keeping for me.
I refuse to be insulted. I stand on my own feet. I support myself.
And now I request you to hand over the money you made selling that lumber twice. I hope you've been keeping it for me. The time has come.
Here it is. Take it.
I'm dead drunk. But drunk or sober, I've got a good idea, Schlink. A very good idea. Jane, you're coming with me. Now.
That was your last money, sir. And where did it come from? They'll be asking you about it. Roost and Company have demanded delivery of the lumber they paid for.
I want a chair. My rice and water.
There are no chairs for you, sir. There's no more rice. Your account is overdrawn. I can tell you from experience, humanity has fallen fists over calluses for a lot of paper dreams. And nothing is so much like paper as real life.
Round 6. The woods on the shores of Lake Michigan. The end of September.
Trees look draped in human dung. The sky is close enough to touch. What is it to me? Cold. I'm like a half-frozen quail. I can't help myself.
If it'll do you any good, I love you.
I've thrown myself away. Why has my love turned to bitter fruit? Others have their summer when they love, but I'm withering away and tormenting myself. My body is soiled.
Tell me how low you feel. It'll relieve you.
I lay in bed with a man who was like an animal.
Ah.
My whole body was numb, but I gave myself to him many times, and I couldn't get warm. He smoked stogies in between. A seaman. I loved you every hour I spent between those papered walls. I was so obsessed that he thought it was love and wanted to stop me. I slept into the black darkness. I don't owe you anything, but my conscience cries out to me that I've soiled my body, which is yours, even if you've scorned it.
I'm sorry you're cold. I thought the air was warm and dark. I don't know what the men of this country say to the women they love. If it'll do you any good, I love you.
I'm such a coward. My courage is gone with my innocence.
You'll wash yourself clean.
Maybe I ought to go down to the water. But I can't. I'm not ready yet. Oh, this despair. This heart that won't be appeased. I am never anything more than half. I can't even love. It's only vanity. I hear what you say. I have ears, and I'm not deaf. But what does it mean? Maybe I'm asleep, and they'll come and wake me. Maybe it's just that I do the most shameful things to get a roof over my head, that I lie to myself and close my eyes.
Come. It's getting cold.
The leaves are warm and shelter us from the sky that's too close.
Tracks point this way. You need a good sense of humor in a September like this. Crayfish are mating. The rotting cry of the deer is heard in the bushes, and the time has come to hunt a badger. But my flippers are cold. I've wrapped my black stumps in newspaper. Where can she be living? That's the worst of it. If she's lying around like a fishbone in that greasy saloon, she'll never have a clean petticoat again. Only stains. Oh, Pat Mankey Boodle, I am going to court-martial you. Too weak to defend myself. I'd better attack. I'll devour the no good with skin and bones. I'll speed up my digestion with prayers. The vultures will be shot at sunrise and exhibited in the Mankey Boodle Museum. Words. Toothless phrases. A gun. This is the coldest answer. Stalk through the jungle looking for a woman, will you, you old swine? Watch yourself, Patty. Where can a woman go when it's all up with her? Let her go, Patty boy. Have a smoke. Take a bite to eat. Put that gun away. Forward march.
Loathsome before God and man. I won't go with you.
Moldy sentiments. Air out your soul.
I can't. You're making a sacrifice of me.
You've always got to have your head in some man's armpits, no matter whose.
I'm nothing to you.
You can't live alone.
You took me so quickly, as if you were afraid I'd get away. Like a sacrifice.
You ran into the bushes like a rabbit bitch, and now you're running out again like a rabbit bitch.
Am I what you say? I'm always what you say. I love you. Never forget that. I love you. I love you like a bitch in heat. That's what you said. But now, pay me. Yes, I'm in the mood to get paid. give me your money. I'll live on it. I'm a whore.
Something wet is running down your face. What kind of a whore is that?
Don't make fun of me. Just give me the money. Don't look at me. It's not the tears that make my face wet. It's the fog.
All right. Take your wages.
I won't thank you, Mr. Schlink from Yokohama. It's a straight business deal. No need for thanks.
You better be gone. You won't make more money here.
Round 7. The Garga family's living room, full of new furniture. September 29th, 1912.
Ever since that man we don't like to speak of, who has a different skin, but who goes down to the coal yard store night and day for a family he knows, ever since the man in the coal yards with a different skin has been watching over us, things have been getting better for us every day in every way. Today, without knowing of the wedding, he's made it possible for our son George to have a wedding worthy of the director of a big business. New ties, black suits, the breath of whiskey on our lips, amid new furniture.
Isn't it strange that the man in the coal yard should make so much hauling coal?
I make the money.
From one day to the next, you decided to get married. Wasn't it a little sudden, Jane?
The snow melts, and where is it then? And you can pick the wrong man. It often happens.
Right man, wrong man. That's not the question. Question is whether you stick to him.
Nonsense. Eat your steak and give the bride your hand.
It's a good hand. And I'm all right here. Let the wallpaper peel. I've got new clothes. I eat steak. I can taste the plaster. I've got half an inch of mortar all over me. I see a piano. Hang a wreath on the picture of our dear sister Mary Garga, born 20 years ago on the prairies. Put pressed flowers under glass. It's good to sit here. Good to lie here. The black wind doesn't come in here.
What's the matter, George? Have you a fever?
I feel fine in my fever, Jane.
I keep wondering what your plans are for me, George.
Why are you so pale, Mother? Isn't your prodigal son back again under your roof? Why are you all standing against the walls like plaster statues?
Perhaps because of the fight you keep talking about.
It's only flies in my brain. I can shoo them away.
Good evening.
Ha-ha, Schlink, you've come. Mother, get a steak and a glass of whiskey for our welcome guest. I was married this morning. My dear wife, tell him.
Fresh out of bed this morning, my husband and I went to the sheriff and said, "Can we be married here?" He said, "I know you, Jane. Will you always stay with your husband?" But I saw that he was a good man with a beard. He had nothing against me. So I said, "Life isn't exactly the way you think."
Congratulations, Garga. You're a vindictive man.
There's a hideous fear in your smile. For good reason. Where's Mary? I hope she's being taken care of. Your satisfaction must be complete. Unfortunately, there's no chair for you at the moment, Schlink. We're one chair short. Otherwise, our furnishings are new and complete. Look at the piano. A delightful place. I mean to spend my evenings here with my family. I've started a new life. Tomorrow I'm going back to Seamain's Lending Library.
George, aren't you talking too much?
Do you hear that? My family doesn't want me to have anything more to do with you. Our acquaintance is at an end, Mr. Schlink. It's been most profitable. The furniture speaks for itself. My family's wardrobe speaks loud and clear. There's plenty of cash. I thank you.
May I ask one favor of you? A personal matter. I have a letter here from the firm of Brewster & Co. It bears the seal of the Attorney General of the state of Virginia. I haven't opened it yet. You would oblige me by doing so. Any news, even the worst, would be more acceptable to me from your lips.
Why don't you say something, George? What are you planning to do, George? You look as if you were planning something. There's nothing that frightens me more. You men hide behind your unknown thoughts as if they were smoke, and we wait. Like cattle before the slaughter. You say, wait a while. You go away, you come back, and you're unrecognizable. And we don't know what you've done to yourselves. Tell me your plan, and if you don't know what it is, admit it, so I know what to do. I've got to plan my life, too. the years in this city of steel and dirt. Oh, George.
You see, the bad years were the best. And now they're over. Don't say anything to me. You, my parents, and you, Jane, my wife, I've decided to go to jail.
What are you saying? Is that where your money comes from? It was written on your face when you were 5 years old that you'd end up in jail. I never asked what went on between the two of you. I knew it was rotten. You both lost the ground from under your feet. Buying pianos and going to jail, dragging in whole armloads of steak and robbing a family of its livelihood is all the same to you. Where's Mary, your sister? There's my new jacket. I never wanted to put it on. But I'm used to the kind of humiliations this city still has in store for me.
How long will it be, George?
Some lumber was sold twice. Naturally, that means jail. Because the sheriff isn't interested in the circumstances. I, your friend, could explain certain things to the sheriff as neatly and simply as Standard Oil explains its tax returns. I am prepared to listen to your son, Mrs. Garga.
I, your wife, will keep the house running while you're gone.
She's going to keep the house running. A girl who was picked off the streets only yesterday. We're to be fed by the wages of sin.
You've given me to understand that your family means a great deal to you. You'd like to spend your evenings among this furniture. You'll have a thought or two for me, your friend, who is busy making things easier for you all. I am prepared to save you for your family's sake.
You can't go to jail, George.
I know you don't understand, Mother. It's so hard to harm a man. To destroy him is utterly impossible. The world is too poor. We wear ourselves out, cluttering it with things to fight about.
There you go, philosophizing with the roof rotting over our heads.
Search the whole world, Schlink. You'll find 10 evil men and not one evil action, only trifles, which can destroy a man. No, I'm through. I'll draw a line under the account and then I'll go.
Your family would like to know if they mean anything to you. If you won't hold them up, they'll fall. One little word, Garga.
I give you all your freedom.
Your family will rot, and you'll be to blame. There aren't many of them left. They might take a notion just like you, to make a clean sweep, to cut up the dirty tablecloth and shake the cigar butts out of their clothes. The whole lot of them might decide to imitate you, to be free and indecent, with slobber on their shirts.
Be still, George. Everything he says is true.
Now, at last, if I half close my eyes, I can see certain things in a cold light. Not your face, Mr. Schlink. Maybe you haven't got one.
40 years have been written off as so much dirt. And now there will be a great freedom.
That's how it is. The snow tried to fall, but it was too cold. My family will eat leftovers again, and again they will be hungry. But I will strike down my enemy.
All I see is weakness. Nothing else since the day I first laid eyes on you. Oh, go ahead and leave us. Why shouldn't they take the furniture away?
I've read that feeble waters erode whole mountains. And I still want to see your face, Schlink. Your damned, invisible, frosted glass face.
I have no desire to talk with you any further. 3 years. For a young man, that's no more than a swing of the door. But for me, I've drawn no profit from you, if that's any comfort to you. But you're not leaving a trace of sadness in me. Now that I'm going back into the noisy city to carry on my business as I did before we met.
All that remains for me to do now is phone the police.
I'm going to the Chinese bar. I can do without the police.
Sometimes I think Mary will never come back either.
She has only herself to blame. Can we be expected to help them when they live in vice?
Is there any better time to help them?
Oh, don't talk so much.
I wanted to ask you, what are you going to do now?
Me? Nothing. This part of our life is over.
You understand, don't you? What George is going to do to himself.
Oh, yes, more or less. Won't help us any.
What are you going to live on?
On the money that's still left. And we'll sell the piano.
They'll take it away. It was come by dishonestly.
Maybe we'll go back to Ohio. We'll do something.
There's something else I want to tell you, John. But I can't. I've never believed that a man could suddenly be damned. It's decided in heaven. It's a day like any other. Nothing has changed. But from that day on, you're damned.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do a certain thing, John. Something I want very much to do. I don't imagine I have any special reason. First, I'll put some coal on the fire. You'll find your supper in the kitchen.
And take care that the ghost of a shark doesn't eat you on the stairs.
Don't make any speeches. I've brought money.
Mary, you dare to set foot here. A fine family. And look at you.
I look fine. Where'd you get all this new furniture? You taken in some money? I've taken in some money, too.
Where'd you get the money?
You really want to know?
Give it here. You people have brought me to this through letting me starve.
So you're taking my money, in spite of your new furniture. Where's Mother?
Deserters are stood up against the wall.
Did you send her out on the streets?
Oh, be cynical, wallow in the gutter. But I'm your father. You can't let me starve.
Where has she gone?
Oh, you can go too. I'm used to being left in the lurch.
When did she leave here?
At the end of my life, I'm condemned to being poor and licking my children's spittle. But I won't have any truck with vice. I have no hesitation about throwing you out.
Give me back my money. It wasn't meant for you.
Not a chance. You can sew me up in a shroud. I'll still beg for a pound of tobacco.
So long.
I've no more to say to a man that can be said in 5 minutes. Then they run out of lies. Actually, everything there is to say could be covered in 2 minutes of silence.
Where's Mother? Gone? Did she think I wasn't coming back up? She won't be back. She's taken her other dress. I've written this letter. To the editor of the Examiner, I wish to call your attention to C. Schlink, the Malay lumber dealer. This man molested my wife, Jane Garger, and raped my sister, Mary Garger, who was in his employ, George Garger. I won't say anything about my mother.
Well, that wipes out our family.
I've written this letter. I'll put it in my pocket and forget the whole business. And in 3 years, that's how long they'll hold me, a week before I'm discharged, I'll send my letter to the newspaper. This man will be exterminated from this city, and when I come back, he'll have vanished from my sight. For him, the day of my release will be marked by the howling of the lynch mobs.
Round 8. 3 years later, C. Schlink's private office, October 20th, 1915, 1 p.m.
Write to Miss Mary Garga, who has applied for a position as secretary, that I will never again have anything to do with either her or her family. To Standard Real Estate, dear sirs, as of today, not a single share of our stock is in the hands of any outside firm, and our business situation is secure. Consequently, there is nothing to prevent us from accepting your offer of a 5-year contract.
This is Mr. Schlink.
I've got 3 minutes to give you some information. You've got 2 minutes to understand your situation. Half an hour ago, the examiner received a letter from one of the state penitentiaries signed by one Garga, showing you've committed a number of crimes. In 5 minutes, the reporters will be here. You owe me $1,000.
I'm obliged to you for this information. Here is your money.
$1,000. Correct.
Mail these letters. Carry on the business. I'll be back.
Round 9. 8 days later. Bar across the street from the prison. October 28th, 1915.
Do you hear the howling of the lynch mob? These are dangerous days for Chinatown. A week ago, the crimes of a Malayan lumber dealer came to light. 3 years ago, he sent a man to prison. For 3 years, the man kept quiet. But a week before they let him out, he wrote a letter to the examiner telling the whole story.
The human heart.
The Malay himself, naturally, has skipped town. But he's done for, Worm.
You can't say that about anybody. Consider the conditions on this planet. A man never gets finished off all at once, but at least 100 times. A man has too many possibilities. For instance, let me tell you the story of G. Wishu, the Bulldog Man. But I'll need the Nickelodeon. This is the story of the dog, George Wishu. George Wishu was born on the Emerald Isle. When he was 18 months old, a fat man took him to the great city of London. His own country let him go like a stranger. In London, he soon fell into the hands of a cruel woman who subjected him to gruesome tortures. After much suffering, he ran away to the country, where he was hunted down between green hedges. Men shot at him with big, dangerous guns, and strange dogs chased him. He lost a leg, and from then on, he limped. After several of his undertakings had failed, weary of life and half-starved, he found a refuge with an old man who shared his bread with him. Here, after a life full of disappointments and adventures, he died at the age of 7.5 with great serenity and composure. He lies buried in Wales. Now tell me, sir, how are you gonna fit all that under one roof?
Hey, who is this man that's wanted?
It's the Malay they're looking for. He went bankrupt once before, but in 3 years he managed by all sorts of dodges to recover his lumber business, and that made him a lot of enemies in his neighborhood. But no court could have touched him if a man in jail hadn't brought his sex crimes to light. Exactly when is your husband getting out, Jane?
Yeah, that's it. I knew it a while ago. Gentlemen, don't go thinking that I don't know. It's on the 28th. Yesterday or today.
Cut the comedy, Jane.
And who's that woman in the indecent dress?
That's the victim, the sister of the man in jail.
Yeah, that's my sister-in-law, Mary. She pretends not to know me, but when I was married, she never came home a single night.
The Malay ruined her.
What's she tearing up over there?
When I held the banknotes in my hand that day, I saw God's eye watching me. I said, I've done everything for him. God turned away. There was a sound like tobacco fields rustling in the wind. I kept them, though. One bill, another. Pieces of myself. I've given my purity away. Now the money's gone. I don't feel any better.
Mr. Maines, gentlemen, I've asked you to come with me so you could see with your own eyes that I've been done an injustice. I brought you with me to witness the kind of place I find my wife in after 3 years of absence. Hello, Jane. How are you?
George, is this the 28th? I didn't know. I'd have been home. Did you notice how cold it is there? Did you guess I'd be sitting here just to get warm?
This is Mr. Maines. You know him. I'm going back to work in his store. And these are neighbors who take an interest in my situation.
How do you do, gentlemen? Oh, George, it's awful for me that I missed your day.
Hello, Mary. Have you been waiting for me? My sister's here, too, as you can see.
Hello, George. Are you all right?
Let's go home, Jane.
Oh, George, you're just saying that. But if I go with you, you'll scold me when we get home. I better tell you right away that the housework hasn't been done.
I know that.
That's mean of you.
I'm not chiding you, Jane. We're going to make a fresh start. My fight is finished. I've driven my opponent from the city, and that's an end of it.
No, George. Things will keep getting worse and worse. People say things are going to get better, but they keep getting worse. They can do that. Of course, we could go somewhere else.
What's the matter, Jane? Aren't you glad I've come for you?
You know perfectly well. And if you don't, I can't tell you.
What do you mean?
Don't you see? I'm different from what you think. Even if I'm almost done for. Why did you bring these gentlemen? I've always known I'd end like this. When they told me in Sunday school what happens to the weak, I said to myself, that's what will happen to me. You don't have to prove it to anybody.
Then you won't come home.
Don't ask me.
But I am asking you.
Then I'll have to put it a different way. I've been living with this man whom they call the baboon. I admit it, gentlemen. And what's the use? Nothing's gonna get any better.
She's out of her mind.
Dreadful. Listen to me, Jane. This is your last chance in this city. I'm ready to wipe the slate clean. Mr. Maines, these gentlemen are my witnesses. Come home with me.
It's nice of you. It certainly is my last chance. But I won't take it. Things aren't right between us, you know that. I'm going now, George. Come, baboon.
That's that.
I'll leave the apartment open, Jane. You can ring. At night.
You've probably noticed. There's a family here in our midst, or what's left of it. Moth-eaten as it is, this family would gladly give its last cent to find out where the mother, the mainstay of the household, is keeping herself. The fact is, I saw her one morning at about 7 o'clock, a woman of 40, scrubbing a fruit salad. She started a new business. She'd aged, but she was looking all right.
But you, sir, didn't you work in the lumber business of the man they're combing every inch of Chicago for?
Me? No, I never laid eyes on the man.
cherry flip, cherry brandy, gin fizz, whiskey sour, golden slipper, Manhattan, curacao extra dry, orange, maraschino Kusenier, and the specialty of the house, eggnog. Oh, this drink is made of egg, one raw egg, sugar, cognac, Jamaica rum, milk.
Are you familiar with those drinks, preacher?
No.
Gentlemen, it has been necessary to show you my broken family. But you can see how humiliating it is for me. You will also have realized that the yellow weed must never again be allowed to take root in our city. My sister, Mary, as you know, was in Schlink's employ for a time. In speaking to her now, of course, I shall have to proceed as carefully as possible, because even in her deepest misery, my sister has preserved a certain trace of delicacy. Mary, won't you let me see your face?
It's not a face anymore. It's not me.
No. But I remember once in church when you were 9 years old, you said, "Let them come to me, beginning tomorrow." We thought you meant God.
Did I say that?
I still love you, soiled and wasted as you are. But even though I know it won't make any difference to you if I tell you I love you, I'd still tell you I love you.
And you can look at me when you say that? At this face?
That face. People remain what they are, even if their faces fall apart.
Oh, but I won't have it. I don't want you to love me that way. I like myself the way I was. Don't say I was never any different.
Do you earn money? Do you live entirely on what you get from men?
And you brought people to hear about it? All right, I'll tell them. All right. I threw myself away. But as soon as I'd done it, I asked for money. To make it plain what I am and that I can live on it. It's only a business arrangement. I've got a nice body. I never let a man smoke when he's with me. But I'm not a virgin anymore. Love is my job. I've got money here. But I'm gonna earn more. I want to spend money. It's a craving I have. When I've made money, I don't want to save. Here, I throw it down the sink. That's the way I am.
Horrible.
You wouldn't dare to laugh.
Man is too durable. That's his main fault. He can do too much to himself. He's too hard to destroy.
Yeah, well, we've seen, Gaga, that you suffered an injustice.
Whores. Vice is a lady's perfume.
You call us whores? With this powder on our faces, you can't see the eyes that were blue. The men who do business with crooks make love to us. We sell our sleep. We live on abuse.
Hey! Oh, the preacher has shot himself in the neck. The preacher, hey, don't touch him. Hey, hands up! He's trying to say something. Do you want anything? Have you any relatives? Hey, where should we take you?
La montagne passée. Nous irons mieux.
He's missed, and in more ways than one. He thought those were his last words, but they're somebody else's. And anyway, they're not his last words because his aim was bad. It's only a small flesh wound.
So it is. Tough luck. He did it in the dark. He should have done it in the light.
His head is hanging down. Put something under it. How thin he is. Oh, I recognize him now. He was a preacher with the Salvation Army. Schlink spat in his face one time.
Let's take him away.
Schlink. His skin is too thick. It bends anything you can stick into it. There aren't blades enough.
He's still on your mind?
Yes. To you, I can't admit it.
Love and hate. How low they bring us.
So they do. Do you still love him?
Yes. Yes.
And no hope of better winds?
Yes. Now and then.
I wanted to help you. This fight has been such a debauch that today I need all Chicago to help me stop it. Of course, it's possible that he himself wasn't planning to go on. He himself intimated that at his age, 3 years can mean as much as 30. In view of all these circumstances, I've destroyed him with a very crude weapon. I didn't even have to be there in person. In addition, I've made it absolutely impossible for him to see me. This last blow will not be discussed between us. He won't be able to find me. You could call it a technical knockout. And on every street corner, the taxi drivers are watching to make sure that he won't show up in the ring again. Chicago has thrown in the towel for him. I don't know where he is, but he knows what's what.
Hey! The lumber yards in Mulberry Street are on fire!
If you've shaken him off, it's a good thing. But now I'm going.
I'll stay here in the middle of the lynch mob. But I'll be home tonight. We'll live together. Now I'll drink black coffee again in the morning, wash my face in cold water, and put on clean clothes. First of all, a shirt. I'll comb a good many things out of my brain in the morning. There will be fresh noise and many things happening all around me in the city, now that I'm rid of that passion. It wanted to go down to the grave with me. But I've still got things to do.
George, are you alone? It was hard to get here. I knew you were getting out today. I've looked for you at your place. They're close at my heels. Quick, Garga, come with me.
Schlink, are you out of your mind? I informed on you to get rid of you.
I'm not a brave man. I died 3 times on the way here.
Yes, I hear they're hanging yellow men like linen on Milwaukee Bridge.
All the more reason for hurrying. You know you've got to come. We're not through yet.
Unfortunately, your request comes at a bad time. I have company. My sister, Mary Garga, ruined in September 3 years ago, taken by surprise. My wife, Jane Garga, debauched at the same time. Also a Salvation Army preacher, name unknown, spat on and destroyed, though it doesn't matter much. But most of all, my mother, May Garga, born in 1872 in the South, who disappeared 3 years ago this October and has vanished even from memory now, faceless. Her face fell off her like a yellow leaf. That howl.
Yes, but it's not the right kind of howling yet. The white kind. Then they'll be here. Then we'll still have a minute. Listen. Now it's the right kind. White.
A deserted tent formerly used by railroad gangers in the gravel pits of Lake Michigan. November 19th, 1915, about 2 a.m.
The perpetual roar of Chicago has stopped. 7 times 3 days the skies have paled and the air turned grey-blue like grog. Now the silence has come that conceals nothing.
Fighting comes as easy to you as digestion. I've been thinking about my childhood. The blue flax fields, the polecat in the gulches, and the light frothing rapids.
I know. All that was in your face. But now it's as hard as amber, which is transparent. Here and there, dead insects can be seen in it.
You've always been alone?
40 years.
And now, towards the end, you've succumbed to the black plague of this planet. The lust for human contact.
Through enmity?
Through enmity.
Then you understand that we're comrades. Comrades in a metaphysical conflict. Our acquaintance has been brief. For a time it overshadowed everything else. The time has passed quickly. The stations of life are not those of memory. The end is not the goal. The last episode is no more important than any other. Twice in my life I've owned a lumber business. For the last 2 weeks, it has been registered in your name.
Have you premonitions of death?
Here is the ledger of your lumber business. It begins where ink was once poured over the figures.
You've been carrying it next to your skin? Open it yourself. It's sure to be filthy. A clean ledger. Nothing but withdrawals. On the 17th, the lumber deal, $25,000 to Garga. At the very end, the whole business burned to the ground again. I can't sleep anymore. I'll be glad when you're covered with quicklime.
Don't deny the past, George. What's an account? Remember the question we raised. Brace yourself. I love you.
That's disgusting. You're terrifyingly loathsome. An old man like you.
Maybe I'll never get an answer. But if you get one, think of me when my mouth is full of dry rot. What are you listening for?
You show traces of feeling. You're old.
Is it so good to bare your teeth?
If they're good teeth.
Man's infinite isolation makes enmity an unattainable goal. But even with the animals, understanding is not possible.
Speech is not enough to make us understand each other.
I've observed the animals. Love, the warmth of bodies in contact, is the only mercy allowed us in our darkness. But the only union is out of the organs, and it can't bridge the abyss created by language. Yet, they cleave together in order to produce beings to stand by them in their hopeless isolation. And the generations look coldly into each other's eyes. If you cram a ship full to bursting with human bodies, there will be such loneliness there that they'll all freeze to ice. Are you listening, Garga? Yes. So great is man's isolation that not even a fight is possible. The forest. That's where mankind comes from. Hairy with ape's teeth. Good animals who knew how to live. For them, everything was so easy. They simply tore each other apart. I see them clearly, with quivering flanks, staring into the whites of each other's eyes, sinking their teeth into each other's throats and rolling down. And the one who bled to death among the roots was the vanquished, and the one who had trampled down the most undergrowth was the victor. Are you listening for something, Garga?
Schlink, I've been waiting the whole time for a rage to take hold of me under any pretext, however slight. But now, looking at you, I realize your drivel merely irritates and your voice only disgusts me. Isn't this Thursday night? How far is it to New York? Why am I sitting here wasting my time? Haven't we been lying around here for 3 weeks now? We thought the planet would change its course on our account, but what happened? 3 times it rained, and one night the wind blew. Schlink, I think the time has come for you to take off your shoes. Take your shoes off, Schlink, and let me have them, because I doubt if you've got much money left. Schlink, here in the woods of Lake Michigan, I'm putting an end to our fight, now going into its 4th year, because its substance is used up. It's ending right now. I can't finish it off with a knife. I see no need for high-sounding words. My shoes are full of holes, and your speeches don't keep my toes warm. It's the old story, Schlink. The younger man wins.
Today, we've heard the shovels of the railroad workers from time to time. I saw you pricking up your ears. You're standing up, Garga? You're going there, Garga? You're going to betray me?
Yes, Schlink, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
And there will never be an outcome to this fight, George Garga. Never an understanding.
Nope.
And you'll come out of it with nothing to show but your bare life.
Bare life is better than any other kind of life.
Tahiti?
New York. I will go, and I will return with iron limbs and dark skin, with fury in my eyes. My face will make people think that I have come of a strong race. I will have gold. I will be lazy and brutal. Women love to nurse wild, sick men returning from the hot countries. I will swim, trample grass, hunt, and most of all smoke, and down drinks as hot as boiling metal. I will mingle with life and be saved. So says the poet. What nonsense. Words on a planet that's not in the center. Long after Lime has covered you through the natural elimination of the obsolete, I shall be choosing the things that amuse me.
What kind of an attitude is that? If you're trying to tell me you've gone impotent, take a different tone at least.
Whatever you say.
Your yawning shows me you're unworthy to be my opponent.
I was only deploring the fact that you bored me.
Bored you? What's that? Are you complaining? You, a hired pug, a drunken salesman whom I bought for $10, an idealist who couldn't tell his left leg from his right, and nobody?
A young man, be frank.
A white man hired to drag me down, to stuff my mouth with disgust or dry rot, to give me the taste of death on my tongue. 600 feet away in the woods, I'll find all the men I need to lynch me.
Yeah, maybe I'm a leper, but what of it? You're a suicide. What more have you got to offer me? You hired me, but you never paid up.
You got what a man like you needs. I bought your furniture.
Yeah, I got a piano out of you, a piano that had to be sold. I ate meat once. I bought one suit, and for your idiotic talk, I gave up my sleep.
Your sleep? Your mother, your sister, and your wife. 3 years of your stupid life. But how annoying! It's all ending in banality. You never understood what it was all about. You want to be dead, but I wanted a fight. Not of the flesh, but of the spirit.
And the spirit, you see, is nothing. The important thing is not to be the stronger, but to come off alive. I can't defeat you. I can only stamp you into the ground. I'll carry my raw flesh into the icy rains. Chicago is cold. I'm going there now. Possibly I'm doing the wrong thing, but I have plenty of time.
Now that the last sword thrusts have been exchanged, as well as the last words that occurred to us, I thank you for the interest you've shown in my person. A good deal has fallen away from us. We've hardly more than our naked bodies left. In 4 minutes, the moon will rise, then your lynch mob will be here. Don't go, George Garga. Don't quit because you're young. The forests have been cut down. The vultures are glutted. And the golden answer will be buried deep in the ground. George Garga.
November 19th. 3 miles south of Chicago. West wind. 4 minutes before the rising of the moon. Drowned while fishing.
Don't drive me away. I'm an unhappy woman.
It's all piling up. Fish swimming into your mouth. What's that crazy light? I have no time for you.
I'm not pretty anymore. Don't look at me. Rats have gnawed at me. I'm bringing you what's left.
That strange milky light. That's it. Phosphorescent rot. That's it.
Does my face look bloated to you?
Do you realize you'll be lynched if the mob catches you here?
It's all the same to me.
I beg you, leave me alone in my last moments.
Look, come. Hide in the underbrush. There's a hiding place in the quarry.
Damn it, are you out of your mind? Don't you see that I have to cast one last look over this jungle? That's what the moon is rising for.
All I see is that you've lost the ground from under your feet. Have pity on yourself.
Can't you do me this one last kindness?
I only want to look at you. I found out that this is where I belong.
Maybe so. Let's stay. 2 o'clock. I've got to find safety.
Where's George?
George. He's run away. What a miscalculation. Safety. The barrels are beginning to stink. Good fat fish. I caught them myself. Well dried, packed up in crates, salted. First set out in ponds, bought, overpaid, fattened. Fish eager for death, suicidal fish that swallow hooks like holy wafers. Quick now. I, Huang Yang, known as Schlink, born in Yokohama in northern Paiho under the sign of the tortoise. I operated a lumber business, ate rice, and dealt with all sorts of people. I, Wang Yang, known as Schlink, age 54, ended 3 miles south of Chicago without heirs.
What's the matter?
Mary, you hear? My legs are getting cold. Throw a cloth over my face. Have pity.
What are you listening for? Answer me. Are you asleep? Are you still cold? I'm here. Close to you.
We want Slink. Where is he?
Go away! He just died. He doesn't want anyone to look at him.
Round 11. The private office of the late C. Schlink. A week later. The lumber yard has burned down. Signs here and there saying, business for sale.
It was stupid of you to let this place burn down. Now all you've got is charred beams. Who's going to buy them?
They're cheap. But what about you and Mary? What are you going to do?
I thought we'd stay together.
I'm leaving. Are you going to work?
I'm gonna work, but not scrub stairs like my mother.
I'm a soldier. We slept in watering troughs. The rats on our faces never weighed less than 7 pounds. When they took away my rifle and it was over, I said, from now on we'll all sleep with our caps on.
Yeah, and you've slept ever since.
We better go now, Father. Night's coming on and I still have no room.
Yes, let's go. Let's go. A soldier at your side. Forward march against the jungle of the city.
I've got it behind me. Hello, Pat Mankey.
It's me. I read your ad in the paper. If your lumber business doesn't cost too much, I'll buy it.
What's your offer?
Why are you selling?
I'm going to New York.
And I'm moving in here.
How much can you pay?
I need some cash for the business.
6,000 if you take the woman, too.
All right.
I've got my father with me.
And your mother?
She's not here anymore.
All right. I'll draw up the contract. Hey, let's all have a bite. You want to come along, George?
No.
Will you still be here when we get back?
No.
Goodbye, George. Take a look at New York. You can come back to Chicago if the going gets tough.
Bye, George.
Bye, George.
It's a good thing to be alone. The chaos is all used up. It was the best time.
In the Jungle of Cities by Bertolt Brecht, translated by Gerhard Nellhaus, was broadcast as part of our Weimar season. George Gaga was Gerard Murphy, and Schlink the lumber dealer was Harry Taub. Mary Gaga, Shelley Thompson, May Gaga, Gwen Cherrill, and John Gaga, John Bluthal. Jane Larry was Avril Clark, Baboon, Carl Johnson, Worm, Tom Georgeson, Skinny, Matt Zimmerman, Pat Mankey, Daniel Webb, C. Maines, Garrard Green, the preacher, Gordon Reed, and the narrator, Elaine Claxton. The play was directed by Caroline Raphael.